Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter, and in Monster Hunter Wilds, dual blade users are eating good. Fast and furious, dual blades excel at being agile and ultra aggressive. And while its demon dance will allow you to punish monsters with a flurry of attacks, it now has more mobility than ever before. Other hunters avoid or guard themselves from monster attacks, but dual blades literally jumps headfirst into them. With a perfectly timed evade, not only will you take no damage, but you'll unlock Demon Boost mode for even more power and speed. When the damage numbers get juicy, that's your cue to do a focus strike on a monster's weak spot. Get ready to spin to win in one of the most satisfying weak spot attacks in the game. For a weapon that is both beginner friendly but also has a high skill ceiling that rewards your knowledge of monsters, choose dual blades as one of your weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds. Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter and welcome to my tutorial on the dual blades for Monster Hunter Wilds. Weapons come in all flavors of complexity, and the dual blades is one of the simpler weapons to get hunting with and a fabulous tool for players of all skill levels. You can also move faster with your weapon out than any other weapon in the game. Before I begin, and I'm going to mention this in every tutorial until Capcom changes it, but the screeching sound of the wedge beetle up above is super annoying. Please let us turn it off. It's like scratching on a chalkboard. It's bad for tutorials, and for someone like me with ADHD, it just pulls and distracts me so bad. Here's what it sounds like normally. And I'm going to try applying a noise filter with Audacity, and here's what that sounds like. Okay, enough of that, let's jump in. The buttons are super easy to remember. The Y button or triangle is your focused attack combo, which you can see here. And the circle or B button is your movement focused combo. I'm using a PS5 controller, so I'll be using that terminology for this video. The triangle here does 3 different attacks in a row. The double slash return stroke, and then finally the circle slash. The circle button does 2 different attacks. The lunging strike, and press it again to follow it up with a round slash. If you don't need to move, just use the triangle button combo, and if you need to adjust your movement, use the circle button. You can also do them one after another to keep up the attack, so you can do the triangle attack button one, and go straight into the circle one, and back into the triangle one. There's one minor intermediary move called the rising slash, which is done with the triangle after an evade, or if you press triangle after one of the circle button attacks. Nothing really to write home about, just one of those, small attack skills that are meant for making the combos more smooth. And your draw attack, despite being done by pressing triangle with forward movement on the analog stick, is the lunging strike. I hope you realize how basic these attacks feel, because this is the state you never want to be in. Dual blades is all about pressing R2 to go into demon mode. In demon mode, your stamina will decrease slowly over a period of time, but you'll get a massive slew of benefits. You'll exit demon mode if your stamina runs out, if you press R2 again, or if you get hit or you sheath your weapon. You can also draw directly into demon mode by simply pressing R2. Demon mode perk number 1, increased movement speed. As if the dual blades needed it, but your movement speed is like 10 to 12% faster when you're inside demon mode. It's actually not that different from normal when you're running around with your hunter. Demon mode perk number 2, the Demon Dash. Your standard evade, which looks like this, it's just that nice little roll, gets replaced with a quick dash called the Demon Dash. If you notice, your stamina does go down pretty hefty when you do it, so you can't spam it that much, but it lets you to reposition very fast. Demon mode perk number 3. Your 2 attack combos are massively enhanced and build up the demon gauge displayed underneath your sharpness. let's take a look at the triangle combo. We get Demon Fangs, 2 full Demon Slash, and then the 6 full Demon Slash. The final hit of that combo, the 6 full Demon Slash, is the most important, and it hits the hardest, and it will also fill your Demon Gauge, which is underneath your Sharpness, by quite a bit. Take a look at the Demon Gauge as I do this. We'll be covering that gauge next, but let's take a look at this circle button combo. It becomes a 3-hit combo. First, the Demon Flurry Rush, followed by the Roundhouse Slash, and now we can follow it up with a second one. Just like the triangle button combo, the second double round slash is quite powerful and will build up your gauge quite a bit while doing a lot of hits. Demon Flurry Rush is one of the main attractions of Demon Mode, as it allows you to move around really fast without wasting precious stamina. If you don't put any input on your left analog stick for movement, you'll actually not be flung very far, which is a really nice quality of life change that they made. And of course, just like the normal mode, you can string these attacks together to really do quite an onslaught. There's also a minor move in here called the left and right Fade Slash, which can be done if you're holding left or right on the analog stick as you're doing your triangle combo. It's just one of those small little micro adjustment moves that you can do and builds up the gauge just a little bit more, but you don't really need to be that mindful of it. Demon Mode perk number 4. The most important perk is the ability to use your built-up gauge to do a 3-part massive burst attack called the Blade Dance. So we'll build up some gauge here, and now we'll just press triangle and circle. That's just the first move. The second one, if you press triangle and circle again. And we can do a third one as well. Now that's a lot of damage. In older games, this used to be one very long attack, but now it's split into 3, which means that you can cancel out of it if your opening is no longer there, like this. Or if the monster moves, or if you simply want to have better gauge control. The loop is quite simple. Use your attacks with triangle and circle to build up your gauge, and spend it to do burst attacks. One thing that's important to note is Blade Dance 2 is actually not that powerful and does require quite a bit amount of demon gauge, but it's really there just so you can get to the final hit of the combo, which is by far the strongest and most important. Demon Mode perk number 5. Since your stamina is always going down in Demon Mode, you can't stay in it forever. Instead of having to do a stamina cooldown and just wait until you get more stamina to go back into Demon Mode, there's a feature called Archdemon Mode. Once you fill up your Demon Gauge, you'll notice how it changes color. Now, as long as you don't run out of gauge fully, when you exit Demon Mode, either again by pressing R2, getting hit, or whatever so not, you are now glowing white, and this is considered Archdemon Mode. You'll be getting a slew of perks, and you'll just want to go back into Demon Mode before you completely run out of gauge so you can build up some more. Archdemon Mode has 3 perks. Perk number 1. You get to keep the Demon Flurry when you press the circle button. This makes the circle combo basically as powerful as the triangle combo in Archdemon Mode. It also dramatically increases your movement ability. Uh-oh, we're running out, so we're going to go back in demon mode and get some more gauge before we completely run out. There we go. Archdemon mode perk number 2. Your basic dash becomes the demon dash. So where you had to go into demon mode in order to get this evade, now when we exit, we can do it. However, there is a side effect. It does consume demon gauge when you use this in Archdemon mode, so use it smart and sparingly. Archdemon mode perk number 3. You'll get a weaker version of the burst attack blade dance called Demon Flurry. This is done the same way, just press the triangle and circle button at the same time, and it has a total of 2 attacks that you can string in a row, and it consumes gauge just like the Demon Dash. So you may be asking yourself, why even use that? Why not just go back into demon mode and use the more superior blade dance combo? It does a lot more damage and a lot more hits. Well, for one, when you're in Archdemon mode, going into demon mode, you'll have to press R2 to transition into it, and then you can do the combo, and that is kind of a waste of time. And second, they've added a way that you can go into demon mode and back and forth very easily. Press triangle and circle to do Demon Flurry 1, and then press to R2 afterwards. If you notice, that goes right into the blade dance combo and sets you in demon mode. And then you can, of course, finish the combo off by pressing triangle and circle one more time. Let's see what that looks like. If you have a larger opening, there's actually another option where you can press R2 again a second time, and you'll go back to Archdemon mode to do Demon Flurry 2. And you guessed it, press R2 one more time to go back into demon mode to finish out the whole combo. Let me build up some gauge and show you the full thing completely unleashed. Okay, we're going to go back into Archdemon mode. This is just our normal mode. And just spam R2. Now, if you just want to talk about cost performance for your demon gauge versus the damage you get out of it, then the most optimal would just be to do the Demon Flurry 1, R2, and then finish it off with triangle and circle. However, there are some really good benefits in doing just the full R2 combo. First is it does a heck of a lot of hits. The second one is take a look at our stamina gauge. You'll notice how much it replenishes when we do this combo because we're going back into Archdemon mode twice during it. The other thing you can do is do micro adjustments on your movement. One of the great things about Blade Dance in Archdemon mode, let me go back into that, is that you can adjust your hunter's sort of position and movement using the left analog stick. So, of course, when you're doing the whole combo string together, you can take that to your advantage to string them all together and move around and literally dance around the monster as you hit it. How you decide to string together this combo, how many you do, is really up to you, and just spamming an R2 after you initiate the attack, Demon Flurry 1, is very easy to do, and because they're all considered separate attacks, you can pull out at any time you want. For this next part, I'm going to go ahead and change the settings for this training dummy so that it throws a barrel at us. I find this the easiest for practicing than the physical attack that it can do. So we're going to change this to throw mode. And now the cat will throw little barrels at us. And now I'd like to introduce you to the new feature called Demon Boost. Demon Dash, which is that awesome snazzy dash that you can do while you're in demon mode, has an extra function that is huge in this game. This doesn't matter whether you're doing it in Archdemon mode or demon mode, but perfectly evade an attack at the moment you're about to get hit, like jump right into it. And if you notice, we did a perfect evade. You'll take no damage, and for the next 24 seconds, we will get 20% additional damage on all of our attacks. And of course, the Demon Dash itself becomes an attack. Another thing you can do is follow it up with the triangle button to do a second gap closing attack called the Screw Slicer. So let's see what that looks like. course, you do have to be mindful every time you're doing a dash, it is using up your demon gauge. So if you notice, I went ahead and used all of it up. So I'm going to have to go back and get it completely filled before I can go back into Archdemon mode. There we go. And of course, being a power that has a timer, it is affected by the skill Power Prolonger, which is why you'll see it as an innate skill on many of the dual blades in the game. You can even do some really fun tech now, because when you're sharpening your weapon, it replenishes part of your sharpness for each one of the strikes you do with your whetstone. And you can evade out of it, so you can almost use it like a lance and bait an attack, and so you'll be able to regain sharpness while also baiting in a new demon boost. And now we have focus mode. Let me go into Archdemon mode here really fast. Okay, just by simply holding down L2, you'll notice that we can now see weak spots glowing on the monster. A weak spot just means that you've attacked it more than once and it's become a weak spot, and for a limited period of time, that thing will take additional damage. You could just enjoy the additional damage and exploit it as long as you want, or you can do a special sort of, I call it the popping the weak spot attack, which is done simply by pressing R1 when you're holding down L2 while in focus mode. So let's create a weak spot. And now that we have a weak spot, whether we're in demon mode or not, we can just go into it and press R1. I'm not pressing anything now. This is all automatic input. This focus mode attack called Turning Tide is amazing. It's a forward lunging strike, and if it connects with a red glowing weak spot, it will then transition you into the Beyblade style attack, where you'll go down the entire spine of the monster, hitting it with your dual blades and being safe the entire time. Also, regardless if you're in demon mode or not, watch, we do get some gauge back. If you were in demon mode when you started that focus attack, you'll end up in demon mode. If you're in Archdemon mode, it will transition you just during the attack, and then it'll bring you back like this. Focus mode could be simply used just for quick tapping it, just see if there's a weak spot, and then using R1 to pop them if you want. Or you can just be using focus mode either on toggle or for holding it down, just to get better aiming on your attacks, and if you just like sort of this style of playing. It does allow you to sort of, almost, it acts like a centered camera, like you're hard targeting forward, but you do get control left and right, up and down of your different attacks. While incredibly minor, it is worth noting that if you use focus mode, you're able to do a perfect evade in one direction and do the spiral attack in the complete opposite one. Normally it would shoot you at a diagonal and you might overshoot or miss the monster, but if you're using focus mode during this, you're able to control your movement much better. Okay, now that we've covered the basic attacks, demon mode, the burst combo, and Archdemon mode, as well as focus mode, now we'll talk about the other benefits of demon dash, which is used for the jump attacks. If you're just going to jump off a ledge and press triangle, you'll do your jumping double dash, or double slash, sorry. Nothing fancy, just an aerial attack. This is the same thing that happens if you're on Sacred, you jump off and you press triangle as well. But that's a little boring, we can do better than that. So if you're in Archdemon mode or demon mode and you have that demon dash, watch what happens when we jump off now. We immediately go into the Beyblade Heavenly Blade Dance finisher. Another way you can do this is by doing a demon dash at a downward slope and then pressing triangle. Now if you want to do some fancy Sacred tech, what you can do is jump off of Sacred, hit R2 to transition into demon mode, and press triangle to do an attack, and if you land it, you'll do the Heavenly Blade Dance from jumping off of your bird. That's the blade finisher if you are a little bit delayed and you don't connect with the first hit, or if you do connect, you'll get that Heavenly Blade Dance finisher. The only thing I haven't covered, and this sort of applies to every weapon in the game, so I don't plan to go over them specifically, but there's a lot of different moves that you can do. in which if you change the direction of your hunter during the combo, you'll be able to micro adjust your movement. For example, like when we have our blades out here, when we do a Demon Flurry into the Rising Slash, if we hold a different direction, you'll notice that we're able to change direction on these things. This is largely true for a lot of weapons. Not every attack can have these little micro adjustments, but figure out what they are, and there's some small little things here, but just consider a different tech. You can always use your input on your left analog stick in order to generally do some fade slashes, do some things to change your direction a little bit, and just get better mobility all around. All the dual blade attacks are fabulous, so how you mix and match them is really up to you. Just make sure that you upkeep that demon gauge and don't let it run out. That way you always have Archdemon in your back pocket, and make sure to use your gauge to do the blade dance and also the demon flurry to do many hits and big damage. And when possible, aim to do a perfect evade so that you can get the demon boost mode for that 20% power boost. The dual blades are a ton of fun. One final note I'll give you is that for armor skills, anything that has to do with stamina consumption, like Constitution so that your evades cost less, Marathon Runner so that the depletion of your stamina is slower, or Stamina Surge so that you can regain your stamina faster, are all great skills to have with this weapon. You'll also notice that a lot of dual blades either have Focus, which will allow you to build up sort of Demon Gauge a little bit faster, or Power Prolonger, which will elongate the period in which you have that Demon boost from your perfect evade. Both are great skills. I personally prefer Power Prolonger, since you're not able to refresh that buff. Just having it up longer is nice, but there are just some things to consider when you're choosing your weapon. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and until next time, happy hunting.